We come back home now and we bring you this. Old age often comes with a lot of challenges, be they physical, mental, or even in some cases both. Now, the stress and anxiety of the past year must have taken an even bigger toll on the elderly. While the young and able turn to technology, the elderly often found themselves isolated because of the stay-at-home rule. It is in such instances that senior living homes become vital. So, to speak on this, I'm now joined by Gus van der Spek from the Manor Life in Cape Town. Mr. van der Spek, thank you for your time and good morning to you. I mean, sure, when they think about, the elderly in this particular period of a pandemic, you can imagine the sense of isolation. But, I mean, they've been experiencing, loneliness and isolation before, but it seems this pandemic has just exacerbated that, isn't it?
Yes, definitely, for sure. The scenic community have been sort of most noticeably affected in this. They are the highest risk portion of our population, and their mobility has been mostly curtailed. So while the focus has been on the physical health of this portion of the population, not much thought has been given to the mental side effects of the multiple lockdowns. So while the younger portion of our population have been sort of out and about, working and looking after families, the older senior living group have been isolated and, to be frank, much of the time avoided by the younger generation in fear of passing on the virus. So, yeah, it's been a very difficult time for our seniors, and we've had a sort of first-hand a view of this when we were looking at launching our development last year called Witham Estate in Kenilworth. It was around about the time that the first lockdown came, and we were looking at launching the product, and we thought we'd just put the brakes on it and see how things went through the lockdown, and our phone just started ringing.
Yeah.
And it was people in the 65 plus category looking to get hold of us to find a place in a community which is seen as a lifeline to a lot of people nowadays.
Yeah, and let's talk about that, retirement lifestyle estates and the role they can play in which to, make, the elderly not feel that isolated. At least they've got, some activity there. I mean, take us through which ways they could play a role.
Look, so a lot of it comes back to this sense of community. You've got an abundance of friends and staff close by. These people obviously in contact with on a daily basis. There's access to top healthcare practitioners in these estates, so you don't have to get in your car and go anywhere. You're less vulnerable to the outside elements in these closed communities. And then obviously you've got help with food and cleaning, property maintenance, that sort of thing. So those are big pluses. There's people around that can help you with technology. Obviously, that's been a major revolution that has come out of the COVID pandemic, is all these new ways of communicating. And often, we take it for granted. Zoom comes out, you figure it out, you log in. But for many people in our senior community, this proved to be a bit of a problem in the beginning. So, you have people around to help you with that sort of thing. And then obviously you've got, grounds to move around in. It's a closed community. At a safe distance, you can see and talk to friends, that sort of thing. There's staff members around to help you. And nowadays there's a lot of sort of smart technology which helps keep an eye on you and just see, if you're moving around, sort of the mental health side of things. People aren't spending the whole day lying in bed. There's ways of tracking that. So these are all sort of benefits that come with living in these lifestyle retirement estates.
Yeah,
but mostly there's this sense of community that people have. It's a real lifeline. Instead of being isolated at home in your flat or in your house, people now are collective of a greater group of people,
right.
And even just knowing that there's someone next door really helps, dissipate that feeling of isolation. So while you can isolate in your unit, there's a space to move to on the outside of that, should you want to socialize and see people on the outside of that.
I mean, I suppose at the same time, one can say this is quite a privileged perspective. I mean, there's so many elderly people in rural areas, some in the townships who do not have a choice but to stay where they are. They don't have a choice of a retirement lifestyle estate. What options are there for them to ensure that their mental health is still not compromised under these circumstances with the conditions that they're currently living under?
Yeah, look, I mean, that's a very good question, and it's a very, very negative part of our society, and it's difficult for people in close confines to get out and move around. But, I think technology is obviously one of the things nowadays through WhatsApp and that sort of thing, communicating with family, but also just getting out, keeping a safe distance from other people, and actually just having that human contact every day is vitally important for mental health. So it's just one of the ways that people need to try and sort of stay in touch with each other, and a camaraderie through these difficult times. Hopefully, with the rollout of the vaccine, we can start opening up things a bit more. But we're in the middle of this third wave, so I think it's going to be another tough month or two for people to bear.
We'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Gus van der Spek, for talking to us. Thank you for your time.